Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I hope you enjoy it. In this video I'm going to demonstrate to you how I made my DIY snowflake, snowman, and mitten cookies. And a few things I want to tell you before the video starts. The bags that are included in your kit may have been sitting for a little while, so you might want to massage the bags gently so that all the icing that has settled will be incorporated throughout the bag. That's one thing. And it's important, I do explain this a little bit in the video, but I want to stress it again. It's important when you are cutting the bags that you first make sure the seam on the bag is facing upward towards you when you snip the end off of the bag. That's very important. And I think that's about it. Hopefully you enjoy the video and you have a lot of fun making the cookies. Thank you. We're going to start with the snowflake. And like I said, first make sure the seam on the bag is facing upward towards you before you snip off the end. And then you can start filling in the snowflake, just as I'm doing here. This is speeded up a little bit, so you'll be going much slower than this. Now you can take your scribe tool or your toothpick and push that icing all the way to the end, because you probably won't get it to the end with the flooding on its own. And it's important that you don't anyway, because you don't want it to overflow. So just push it to the ends with your toothpick, or if you have a scribe tool, use that. Now I'm going to be adding some of the sprinkles. If you are adding sprinkles, now's the time to do it while the icing is still wet. Please excuse the food coloring stains on my hands. It's really hard to get off. Now I'll show you on another one of the blue snowflakes how I'm adding the snowflake detail with the white detailed icing. That's the thicker icing in the smaller bag. You can do this however you like, but here's a demonstration of how I do it. Moving on to the snowman, I'm going to fill in the body of the snowman with my white flood icing, which is in the big bag. And I'm going to stop when I get to the hat part, because we're going to do that in a little bit after this white flood icing has crusted over or dried a little bit. It usually takes about 30 minutes for that white icing to crust over. Now I'm going to take my scribe tool or your toothpick, and I'm going to push the icing all the way to the ends. It's easier to leave a little bit of the icing, not all the way to the end, so you are sure that it doesn't overflow. I've already filled in the hat with the blue and then you can just push it where you want it to go. In the small bag. And now I'm going to draw on the scarf, fill it in a little bit, and then we'll move on to the eyes and the nose. Now you're going to take your orange icing and starting wide and making it narrower as the nose gets longer. Taking my white detail bag, the small white icing bag, again, I'm going to make some snowflakes at the bottom of the snowman. You can do whatever you like here. You can use sprinkles when the icing is wet, if you want to add those there. You can use a different color, whatever you like. Moving on to the mitten, I've already flooded the body of the mitten, and now I'm going to fill in the cuff using my pink icing, which is the flood consistency in the large bag.
And this kid's like, well, what? You're gonna throw that back? I'm like, no. He's like, no. Let's keep that. And we're like, okay, if you want to, you're gonna have to clean it and stuff. And he's like, okay then. And he actually, we got like a cooler for it at the station.
I left this narrative running in the background because I thought it was pretty funny. It's my husband and my nephew.
Whitefish.
Whitefish is very good to eat. If it's whitefish like here in Lake Erie, I don't know if it's the same whitefish. But that was Utah?
Yeah, in Utah.
Wonder if it is the same whitefish.
Probably not. I don't think so.
Alexa, Lake Erie whitefish, is it the same as Utah whitefish?
It was in like
Here's something I found on the web.
On the web.
According to wikipedia.org, in appearance it is very similar to the closely related Bonneville whitefish Peace Phyllonotus.
Well, there you go. Alexa, are those fish good to eat?
Here is what I found. While healthiness depends on personal health considerations, one medium fish has 8% of the daily recommended intake of saturated fat and 32.3% of the daily recommended intake of cholesterol. But it is also a good source of potassium, iron, vitamin D, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin, vitamin B6, and vitamin B12. Was that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for your feedback.
Can you cook me some up?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, this is all like the fish we caught. Caught like 6.
Whoa, that's a pretty good catch.
Yeah, we caught like 6.
And did you eat them?
Yeah, we did.
Who fried them up?
He did, the kid that wanted to keep them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he cooked
Well,
them,
what, did you just meet him on the shore?
No, he went to like, yeah.
Here I'm adding a little bit of different detail on the mitten to make it look more like a knit pattern. Just going back and forth on the cuff. And now on the body of the mitten, I'm going to add some lines and some dots to make it look more like a knitted mitten.